Blackstar.
London, please say hello to my good friend, Mr. Doug Aldrich!
I've known the Blackstar guys since right at the beginning of the company. These guys have been friends of mine forever. I've been following them through the years and playing Blackstars in various situations. But we hadn't really worked together until right now. Of course, the guys are like brothers. I've known them, like I said, for so long, but it's like a family vibe again, you know, and they invited me to join the family. So here I am. It's a really great opportunity to work with people that I really like, and more importantly, the products that they make are just really cutting edge. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. You know, you could do a whole feature film about Blackstar, but just to strip it down, it's a great company with great people, family vibe, great R&D, cutting edge. That's why I'm here.
How loud do you drive them on stage?
Well, it depends. Obviously now I know that it depends on this volume. But I've been running these up pretty high.
Yeah.
And then this about where it is.
Okay.
So it's
pretty up.
It's reasonable, yeah. When you came to New York and we were doing rehearsals, the front of house engineer was not there. So I was like going to, that was a really good volume. When I came back and he was there, first thing I did was get those settings, and he's like, no, he can't run it like that. you're just taking the front row right out of it.
Well, that's what I was saying to you the other day about, because some people like in-ears and some people don't, and I still want to hear the amp.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it just sounds, you know, you take them out, it's like, oh yeah, there it is, you know. But for certain things, for pitch and singing and whatever, it's good with the ears. But eventually you want to just go, fuck it, let's hear the amp. Yeah. This is a great spot, man.
Thanks, dude.
What? So
I'll give you a tour around, but I feel like after you guys are done. Oh, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it goes. Yeah. This is like a private place, so I just do friends and family. It's got a stage and a little rehearsal area and a couple control rooms, and
it's great.
Yeah.
Congrats with Jared. You're doing.
Oh, thanks.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
It's good.
It's as you know, it's a tough slog still.
No, he's always down for it. He's such a great dude, and you know, it helps when you got somebody you can trust.
Yeah, we work
making good decisions.
He works like a motherfucker. He works fucking hard. So
I know he does. Okay, so James came to New York, and we went through a bunch of amps, and I, you know, had a great time playing through all of them, and they were all really cool, but I was gravitating towards the HT Stage 100 for a couple reasons.
So at the moment, it's kind of set as normal, so obviously have a play, and then we'll see what it is we want to adjust. So
Okay, I think that's good. It fucking sounds great. this is gonna sound strange, but the clean channel, so Blackstar's got an amazing sound that's their very own, is a very British sound, but the clean channel is unlike something that I've played before. It's really a great feeling clean channel. It makes you really, you know, be able to listen to what you're doing, inspires you and makes you want to practice and work on things, and you can really hear every little nuance without all the gain. And so when I was playing through the first thing I went to was the crunch sound, and it was great. And it was like this British sticky sound, you know, that was coming right at my face, you know, and awesome, like a big wave crashing on the ocean. But then when I switched channels to the clean channel, I was like, wow, it's got the same feel as, I mean, even down to the Blackstar fly amps. The clean sound is so awesome to practice with, and I love the clean sound. So right then I was like, whoa. And then to find out there's different voices, and then the high boost channel, it was like basically having 3 perfectly modded amps in one.
When we go to this channel with the mid boost on, then I have to switch it on and off here independently, and you can whether you want that on or not.
Fucking great, man.
But that's
with the mid on and the,
yeah, that would be the normal version of the preamp, but we've still got the control over the power amp, which is the mod basically.
that's solid rhythm sound.
So where would you go from there, sounds-wise? What do you need next?
11. So this stuff's all just basically, there's headroom there to change little by little.
Best thing to do with this is kind of for you, set it pretty neutral. Then you've got flavors left and right if you want to.
Yeah.
For you, when we're tweaking this, the immovable stuff, actually as part of the signal chain, all the preamp and the back end power amp, set that right with everything for you, pretty neutral.
Yeah.
And then you can go either way, depending on the room, depending on the venue.
I don't know, what do you guys think? I mean, I want you guys to feel like it's something, it feels great to play.
Yeah. This is all of our designs have this. This is not something that anyone else does. But we do this in every unit.
There's a bunch of shit that you guys do that nobody else
That's true. Yeah, like, and these are just only some of them. But that's doing. Let's try this now with some of the extra gain voices as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. You know, I've been around the block. I own a whole bunch of vintage amps, some modded, some not. And this amp basically covered all that ground, and I was pretty blown away. It was a brand new amp at the time, and I was like, I want to take this on the road. And I did, and it worked out great. Yeah, it was basically, it wasn't out yet, and I twisted some arms and begged, and I got it. We just, basically, the amp was pretty flawless as it was, and so the tweaks were very minimal. There was, first of all, the basic amp itself is amazing. The Blackstar R&D department is amazing, and they had a rig of a circuit that we jumped into the amp and like made some little adjustments to the tone. But I mean, it's nothing major. It was just something small. Just as I was playing, we just thought it sounded good. One of the things I always wanted in an amp was an effects loop that was switchable. That, you know, some companies have it, but the Blackstar loop just really sounds good with any pedal that you got. And at the moment, I run a delay in the effects loop. Some people want to run a reverb or whatever, but I like a little grease on there. And so I have one that I can switch it from a distance, but I have it living back by the amp because I want to run a short cable from the effects loop into the delay and back to the amp. I don't want to run it all the way to the floor. So I asked the guys, could we try and do a switchable effects loop so we could stick a delay in the back, have it live back there, and then you can just have it on the floorboard and you can kick it on and off. And that was one of the key things that really makes this amp a little different.
So what would be the next step?
After measure all these pots, basically, and then moving forward, those resistor values will be fixed and put in the amp.
Okay.
I'll have to do some slight changes to the PCB to incorporate
to the which?
to the PCB, which is the
okay.
circuit board. And then obviously we changed the which is on this. There are actually those components there underneath that board. That's why that's empty. And the other thing is to incorporate the delay with it, a switchable delay.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, man. There's the one last thing, but more to do with software is, I don't know if you use the CabRig outputs.
So I use it. I've been using it in my studio.
Yeah, right.
It's genius.
Right.
I fucking love it.
That's even better. Quoting on that. Obviously, have you gone into the deep editing of it
I have not. I found
just
something that I like.
Well, you can go into it and edit any of them sounds and save them as one of the free settings in here.
It would be great to then also for the signature amp to then it come with Doug 3 signature.
It just makes
CabRig settings as well.
makes more of a package that's
They get your studio sound, sure.
yeah.
So yeah, the situation is that it's so new and so amazing. A lot of people don't know about it.
Exactly.
So I tried to tell a front of house engineer that, look, this is the way to go. What you're doing, he's taking. I got a cabinet that's mic'd up with 257s, old school, and then he's taking another output out of the amp and running it through a. It's not even a cabinet emulator.
It's a speaker simulator.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Is that a speaker up advance that or the XLR?
He's coming out of the speaker.
right. Yeah, which is again the kind of traditional way of doing it.
Yeah.
So I go, dude, you got to listen to the thing. He's like,
Yeah.
man, I got so much shit going on. I just know my thing. This is my thing with the 57s.
Right.
I go, yeah, but look, when you move it that far, it changes the sound, So
You consistent front of house sound every night.
Yeah.
You set on your studio, you can spend hours, your tech can spend hours tweaking it, and that will sound the same everyone every night.
and I love it.
And then you've got Cab on stage for you and the front 50 rows. You know?
Over the years, Over the years, my home studio is a separate. I got a little separate house that's the studio, and then I got another little separate, it was a little separate room that to put my amps in, and I must have spent thousands of hours walking back and forth, moving the lights, going back, listening.
Yeah.
It's like days.
You can do
Engineers coming over, the big name guys coming over trying to help me. Like that's the one. I'm like, that's okay. You sure? And then a couple days later, I'm like, nah, that's not it.
You just sit with monitors, set sound, save it.
I just take the head, stick it in there.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
It sounds.
Well, this would be great then. So then people can actually play with the three. You can set 3 sounds that you like. You got the switch on the back, which then can switch between the 3.
But I do like your stock ones, whatever those are, because when Steve did when he did the demo in Germany last year, he had the amp off and he's just showing what it can do, and it was just like.
Well, we spent a lot of time on those stock presets, as you'd imagine, so they're pretty detailed. But then if you like specific mics or cab flavors within those, or you want to tweak it slightly, we can make sure that your custom ones are in the amp when it's shipped.
Yeah, it can be as different or as similar.
It's entirely up to you how you use it.
it's not just the tone of it and the 3 channels and the different voices, you know, basically making it ultimately like being able to tweak it into 6 channels, really. It's got the CabRig, which is key, because when I first saw Steve at Blackstar do a demo with the CabRig, it was like blow away. Put the amp on standby, you've got an XLR coming out of the back of the amp, going to the PA, and it sounded killer. And then there were 3 different amps in there, and then you could change it if you want to. So those are little things that are like heads above everybody else. And the thing sounds amazing, the CabRig. Then you flip the amp on as well, and it's like a guitar player's dream. You're coming out of every speaker, and it sounds awesome. And let's see what else. Well, the pedal board it comes with, basically you can access all the tones on the pedal board, and it's got LEDs to show you what voice you're on and, you know, whether the effects loop's on. It's just really cool because, you know, you could take a reverb or a delay or a chorus or whatever and stick it in the effects loop and have it just be back with your amp. It's not going to use up your, you know, a bunch of cable or change your tone at all, which is really important to me, is to maintain the tone. So all in all, the amp basically does everything, and it covers more ground than I need, but it's nice to have because if you're like me and you're a guitar player, you like to experiment. The first prototype is on the road with me right now, and starting with just looking at it, it just looks cool. It's got the, you know, the ruby red Tolex, and so it's called the DA100 Ruby, I guess is what we're calling it, and just kind of lovingly named after my daughter, who's like super tough on the inside and super sweet on the outside, like you know. So the amp looks killer and it's beautiful, but don't let it fool you. It'll rip your head off if you want to. And so the prototype showed up, and it was awesome looking, and plugged into it, and it's just easy. You know, I started with the crunch channel and just dialed in, you know. One of the things that I learned from the Blackstar R&D is it's really good to start with EQs set straight up. It's a good spot to start, and then you can adjust it little by little from there. And I really, after all these years, it wasn't until I heard that I was like, wow, that makes sense, because a lot of times you never know where to start with an amp. But I started with the crunch channel, the middle channel, which is going to be your main channel probably, maybe. And from there you can get tons of gain, or you can get it just nice and crispy if you want, you know. But I started there, and it just had this great punch to it, aggressive, but yet you roll down your volume and you can clean it up, and it was killer. And it's just been working out great on the road on this tour with the Dead Daisies. Front of house guy loves the CabRig. He actually is old school, so he uses microphones as well as the CabRig. But I recently been listening to some live shows, and I've isolated the CabRig, and the CabRig is insane. The way it's recorded, just the CabRig by itself, you don't need to use any mics anymore. You don't have to. And in fact, if it was up to me, I probably wouldn't, because it just has everything you need right there. So it's working out great. I'm gonna get the final version soon, but they're gonna have to pry these prototype amps out of my fingers.
All right, guys. Well, I think you fucking nailed some cool shit. Subtle changes is
Yeah.
that's the thing that normally I do, is I go too far. I love it that you guys are just like, yeah, it's a little, just a touch here, a touch there.
You're using the standard model now, and you know that's it. We know you love it, but there's just some things that for you personally.
I think I help that you're already very familiar with the amp, so we're always starting at a good point. It's just
love
a little bit.
People are like, well, what's the story? I'm like, it's right out of the box.
Yeah.
It just sounds fucking great. That's the whole thing. Is like, this is the first time. There's a lot of boutique amps that sound really cool, but they don't have this personality.
And it's also with one thing. It's like they do that.
Yeah, or they everything they do is good, but it's kind of like this sounds unique to a Blackstar.
And those amps, when I heard it backplaying through a combo yesterday, it was like, that sounds like Blackstar. It's got an attitude, you know? And that's where those boutique amps, they sound amazing and they're fucking killer, but they miss a little bit of the attitude yet.
All right, very cool. Okay, and then after that, I suppose we have to talk about styling.
I sent that new red sample to Tony.
You know, and I was looking at the one you sent me. It's pretty close, actually.
Yeah?
The one that you sent me.
Impressive.
I just want to make sure that it's not too bright.
Yeah.
So that it's subtle, just so it's not red, you know?
Got it. So that's kind of like, it's like almost like a wine red. It's kind of, yeah, you have to reference you then, right?
Unlain texture is what we're talking about. Right. But this goes back some years, Phil. This has done some work. This has done some real work.
Well, this is what we use on the Artisan, which is our Ham White. They were our first amplifiers.
Right.
It's the same
I remember now.
Is it ruby enough? Probably not, maybe.
I don't know. It's not bad. You could say it's ruby.
I take your point with like that it can sit down in the eye line, or it can go, hey, that's red.
Yeah, when the light hits it, it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's the ruby
here.
Yeah.
On stage, it will look.
I got it.
Dark.
Yeah.
This is very cool though. All that
That's cool for us.
dialing it in. And probably we got some footage of
Got loads.
Lots.
I hope that you guys get a chance to play through this signature amp. I've had an opportunity so many times to work with various companies, and you know, I've been really fortunate to get people that wanted to help me find the sound that I really loved, and always, you know, get it close and stuff, but I've just never really felt this confident about an amp, and I guarantee you that you're gonna love it. It's a great amp for all kinds of purposes, you know, whether it's blues or jazz or ripping your head off rock, you know, it's gonna work.